Hello, this video is a quick explainer about a question that I saw on and commonly get in a lot of the communities and from a lot of stakeholders with regards to like Salesforce showing fields that have been updated by the marketing automation system. But however, you go back into the marketing automation system. And so in this case, I'm going to use Marketo, but this could apply to like HubSpot, Pardot, any of the main marketing automation systems. Um, but where a change is being attributed by Salesforce to the marketing automation system, however, there was not a data value change event that occurred and got pushed from the marketing automation system itself. So for this example, I'm going to use Marketo. And I'm going to walk through this very quick flow chart to explain what the workflow looks like between the marketing automation system's sync event and what's happening in Salesforce that causes certain events that were not actively pushed by the marketing automation system, but it got attributed to the marketing automation system. So this example, I'm going to use Marketo. So there's an engagement event. Let's say a form got filled out. That's a very common event. That gets triggered and it causes data in the marketing automation system, causes data in Marketo to be updated, both by, let's say, the form fill, but also by data value change events in the smart campaigns. Or if you're looking at HubSpot or Pardot, the workflows that would be doing those activities on those systems. And the result is that the person updates are pushed into Salesforce. So for this example, I'm gonna assume that the records that there is a corresponding record that already exists in Salesforce, but this could also take place if this is a record that was created in the marketing automation system and pushed to Salesforce for the first time. So both of these events can create this environment. I just wanted to show this example from the perspective that the records already exist. So the person update pushes to Salesforce, and then there's an update event that pushes between Marketo and Salesforce where the lead or the contact record, depends on which object the record exists on, is updated. So what you need to know now is that the connection between Marketo and Salesforce, or your marketing automation system, doesn't matter. They all generally integrate with Salesforce in the same way, is integrated through the Salesforce API through a Salesforce user that basically creates that connection. So there's a user record that's, let's call it Marketo Sync, that is created in Salesforce that essentially treats the Marketo system, treats the integration as a user in Salesforce. So it would do the same thing as if I went into Salesforce, went to the lead tab and updated a lead record or updated a contact record from the contact tab. Exact same thing. And that initial data value change, that initial last updated event, is attributed to Marketo Sync. So, and actually this would transpire regardless of whether it was a physical person doing a data update in the UI, or if this was a system update that was created by like an integrated marketing automation system such as Marketo. So in a lot of cases, there are going to be Apex code triggers or process flows that are listening for updates. And this is very common in a Salesforce environment, that there are processes that are listening for certain updates in Salesforce that will fire things from Apex code, which is Salesforce's like essentially programming language behind the scenes, or process flows. Either way, if those fire and additional updates are made to the record, then any updates that are tracked through history on the object are also going to be attributed to the user that that made the change to the record that initiated those actions. So in this case, it's Marketo Sync, could be Chris Willis. But anything that the Apex trigger or the process flow changes as a result of that user updating the record will also be attributed to the user that made the change that caused the Apex trigger or the process flow to fire. And so anything that is attributed, anything that is updated on the record where there is history tracking will also be attributed to Marketo Sync. And part of the reason for this is that the Salesforce workflow itself doesn't really have a user that it can tie to these history updates to. So essentially, it's going to tie everything back to the original user. So one way you can get around this, so there's one way you can get around this is that instead of using things like Apex code or process flows, you can use third-party data integrators. So like say like a Lean Data, Traction Complete, OpenPrize that are firing and they have their own user ID, which would attribute those changes to like those process flows. So you would, instead of seeing the changes being updated by Marketo Sync, you would see them from the user that is tied to, say, Lean Data, for example, or the user that's tied to OpenPrice. So those tools do cost additional dollars. There's a lot of functionality you get in them. So I definitely don't want to discourage you from looking at those. I would highly recommend, especially if you've got complex workflows. Those tools give you a lot of power and definitely allow a lot more of a citizen developer relationship with the Salesforce org than say like Apex or like native Salesforce process flows. However, you may not be in a situation where, or how your Salesforce org is governed, you are using a lot of Apex flows or process process triggers, and I just switched that up. So in those cases, if you see that activity where like it's not being updated from the Marketo system, but it's being updated from Salesforce, it's very easy to look in the activity log and tell whether Marketo had updated a record or a data value on a record or Salesforce did. That's not the subject of this video. But if you do see that, then what I would recommend is talking to your Salesforce admin team and getting a sense of what Apex triggers are firing and getting an audit of those like Apex triggers or process flows to understand what is happening and why those triggers are being fired. And that may cause you to make some decisions about like how you update and how you sync data in your stack. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful, and please, if you like this content, please like ring the bell on YouTube, or definitely reach out with additional questions. I'm happy to take them. Thank you so much. All right, bye.